Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good day everyone. This is Muhaira Jayunan, your presenter for today, and today's video I'm going to present the lesson 15 from our course entitled The Traditional and Authentic Assessment. For our overview, in the previous lesson, we have learned the importance of formative assessment in helping learners keep in track and attain the learning objectives that teachers have set for them in line with the standards set in the curriculum. So in this lesson, we are going to explore the other forms of assessment that are commonly used, especially the one used for performance tasks. So before I start my lesson, let me read first the learning outcomes. So at the end of this lesson, the students can differentiate the traditional assessment and authentic assessment, identify the examples of each type of assessments, and create one authentic assessment based on a lesson. Okay, so our topic is traditional and authentic assessment. Traditional assessment, as the name suggests, are conventional methods of testing the understanding of the learners. It is usually produces a written document such as quizzes, exams, or papers. So these tests are popular especially because of their ease of use, as they instantly provide a numerical score right after the test. Furthermore, it is also easy to compare results of groups of learners using the traditional assessment. So, however, this type of tests tend to emphasize memorization of concepts over development of complex skills. So meaning, the traditional assessment is from the word tradition. It means something that has been used for a long time. So when we relate it to the assessment, this traditional assessment is a way of assessing student learning in a specific course but in a traditional way, such as giving tests that taken with paper and pencil. Usually, the examples of this assessment are exams, quizzes, and others. Teachers only measure the learnings of their students by only that way of assessment. So, students are not exposed on enhanced activities. So, that is the traditional assessment. Okay, so let's proceed to the authentic assessment, also called alternative assessment. So this assessment use activities that help show what learners can do, especially with the learners they have gained in the lessons. In authentic assessment, learners get to take more responsibility for their learning. It also helps them practice problem-solving skills and not just the product, thus calls for higher order thinking skills. This is because authentic assessment learners are asked to perform real-world tasks that demonstrate the knowledge and skills they learn in class. Meaning, authentic assessment is the idea of using creative learning experiences to test students' skills and knowledge in realistic situations. So, in addition, authentic assessment measures students' success in a way that is relevant to the skills required of them once they finish their subject. It also the assessment where students thoughtfully apply their acquired skills to a new situation or environment. Students effectively use their knowledge and skills in a task if it is realistic, required to judge, and so that they can assess their abilities. So some of the examples of authentic assessment is the interviews, performance tasks, demonstrations, portfolios, and other things that are realistic. Okay, so now let's proceed to the creating authentic assessment. So first one is identify standards or objectives. So these are the statements of what the learner should know and able to do. So meaning, you must identify the standards of your students and what you expected that your students should able to do. Number 2, select an authentic task. The teacher finds a task that can demonstrate their understanding of the lesson to meet the standards or objectives. So meaning, you can wisely select any kind of task that your students could perform and indicates what standards they've made. Okay, so number 3, identify the criteria for the task. These criteria will help the learners determine the level of competence needed in order for them to determine how good they are performing in the task. So a good criterion must be clearly stated, brief, observable, and written in the language the learners can understand. Okay, so the following picture is the example of creating authentic assessment. Okay, so let's proceed to create the rubric for scoring. Using the identified criteria, the teacher then creates a scoring rubric to help learners rate their own performance in this task. Meaning, the teacher must create any kind of rubrics as long as it could measure the performance of the students. It depends upon on a teacher, any kind of rubric will do. So the following picture are just a sample of rubric.